What is up, YouTube? It is Sporadicles here today with some Awaken Chaos Era content. Now, what I want to do today is just kind of walk you through my guide to the early game and what you want to be focusing on as you are progressing through the game. This will be taken from the viewpoint of my unlikely this unlucky playthrough, where again we are only using champions that you are guaranteed to get throughout the game. So for epics and legendaries, you are very limited. For legendaries in particular, you've only got your rookie summons. I'm I'm choosing from that pool because you are kind of guaranteed to get them if you use the data reset here on your account. Now that will restart the entire game for you, so be careful and know that that is what you want to do if you are unhappy with your rookie summons. You can also get Sierra after you go through the Void Tower on hard and do all of those things. I happen to have pulled her. I will not be using her until I have completed all of the prerequisites for her. You can also get Mila through the rookie event, Arendelle for the 7-day login, Azrina and Zatlux through Covenants, Aurak through the event shop, etc., etc. Aside from that, we will be using elites and below, so Rodira, Zachary, Valak, Joseph. As you can see, some fairly popular elites in terms of what I have built so far, but this can get you through quite a bit of the content in the game. And how I did that, oh, you know what? Why don't we start a tradition here? We're going to go ahead and do our free advanced summon. Why not? Let's see what we get. Hopefully it's an elite. It's an elite. Can I use it for Hackern or Santis? I don't believe so. That's unfortunate. That is... I still have yet to fuse Hackern and Santis. I am low on quite a few things on that front. I've used up all of my Josephs because Joseph. Okay, so my approach to clearing a lot of the content early game. What I do is I will go through common as far as I can, get through as much of it as possible, because what you get from the end of the stages or end of the chapters, that gear can actually be quite good once you're starting to get into the later chapters. You're getting 4-star epic and legendary gear. Some of the bonus content in the chapters in common can also give you fairly good gear. So what I do is I go through as much of common as I can until I hit a wall, and then I will move to hard adventure mode and just kind of work through that a little bit. You're able to start getting some of your glyphs there. So it's very helpful in terms of progression for your heroes. Keeping in mind, of course, that you do have some of these missions for the Foodie's Guide. I would recommend keeping an eye on where you're at. Get through some of those pieces as well if you can. Whenever I'm going through the first stage here, I like to hold on to about 20 of the advanced crystals because you have a couple of these hero summons that can kind of get you caught up a little bit. So holding on to those, I think, is very helpful. As I mentioned, though, going through the campaign, because the objective really is getting to Mythic. If you're not in Mythic, you're not getting the most EXP jelly, you're not getting the most gold, you're not getting the best glyphs, you're not getting the best gear, because even the gear from Mythic campaign can be up to 5-star rare, which is actually pretty decent, all things considered. And that goes for all of the stages. It's not just the boss fights that you're getting those drops from. So I would highly recommend doing that. Waiting until you're a good ways, probably 4 or 5 chapter 6 in on Mythic to really start looking at doing some of those dungeons. So normal adventure, hard adventure, rotate between those. If you're hitting a wall on both of those, then I like to look for the glyphs and try and get my glyphs up on all of my heroes as much as possible. In terms of who you want to be trying to get to 61st, I'm always looking at DPS. Whenever I cleared hard adventure mode, I had Avira and Zachary at level 60, and I used Rhodira and Connor as my supports. A little bit heavy on the support side, but it works. It's much easier to go through with multiple supports. It's just going to take a little bit longer. And really, once you get to Mythic, the first 3 or 4 chapters of Mythic are actually a lot easier than trying to go through some of those later stages of Hard. So keep that in mind too whenever you're trying to do it. And don't forget your support heroes whenever you're getting stuck on levels. For example, on 10-8 Hard. If you're just struggling bringing down Nicholas, then you can use your support heroes. In the battle, you have the option to select some of your friends' heroes, and they are very helpful. They are going to be likely much stronger than yours if you have high level people in your friends list, and it can be very, very helpful. Also, Avira is particularly good for 10-8 because whenever Nicholas gets down to his last bit of health and he brings up the death immunity, every bonus attack that she's doing is whittling away at a stack. So instead of having to use the water prison, like a lot of people will do, you can bring Gaia's Renewal to have a little bit of extra healing if you need it, or you can bring Shield of Mercy if your team is getting one shot. And just kind of build upon that foundation. After that, after you've kind of gotten in and started to get some of your heroes up to 60, then you can really start looking at dungeons. I think one of the ones that people like the most to attempt, especially if you have Santis, is going to be Queen of Tides. You can use Rhodira, Zatlux, Santis, and Hakron, all available relatively easily. Rhodira is not available through through the synthesis or anything, but you can pull her from normal shards as well as advanced shards. So she's relatively easy to get a hold of. Again, Santis and Hakron, those are both available through synthesis. And Zatlux is really good for wave clear because he's got, once he is maxed out, at least he has an extra 30% crit rate and precision. So he can clear those waves for you pretty easily. So there's so many uses of a lot of the champions a lot of the heroes that get overlooked in a lot of these dungeons. Zachary is actually one of my favorites, even though he has been nerfed since the game has been out. He's just got a lot of really good clear capabilities whenever you're adding him in with another DPS. So again, this is my clears in terms of where I'm at on Arcane Dominator dungeons, with only heroes that are available in the game inherently, plus things that you can get from normal summons. So you can actually do a lot of this content, guys, without even having to pull all of the your Nathalias, without having multiple of the starter legendaries or Gangalo. I even pulled a frickin' Gangalo, if you guys didn't notice earlier. So far, I have pulled Gangalo, Brand, Geralt, and Sierra. And I can't use any of them in this playthrough. You don't need to use them in most of this stuff. Again, Queen of Tides 12, you can clear just with heroes that are available in the game without having to pull them from shards. So Zatlux, Santis, Hakron, and Rhodira, that's a very popular Stage 12 Queen of Tides team. It takes a while, but it does the job. Aurak is great for Tulpa. He can be all right in Ash Magisteria in the early levels as well. Selene, I think, is kind of underrated in Ash Magisteria, or underutilized in Ash Magisteria, because everybody's looking to use the Nathalia that they pull, which is great. But if you don't pull Nathalia, which I have not pulled Nathalia on this account, then you have to have some other type of wave clear. And I think that Selene, given the fact that her ultimate ability, the damage increases with the number of enemies, is very helpful because that is one of the dungeons where you are facing the most enemies. So don't be discouraged if you guys aren't really getting a lot of those legendaries and epic heroes that you want. This game is playable without them. I promise. It's going to take a little bit longer, and if you're not spending money, then obviously it's going to be a little bit longer. I have not spent a dime on this. I still have 6,000 diamonds. I've got quite a few heroes up to 60. We're still working on some of the glyphs. The gear is kind of what we're working on next. So don't get discouraged. You don't have to pay money to be successful in this game and to be able to do a lot of the content. I've even almost gotten through all of the Void Tower on normal. We're gonna try to do as much progression through hard as we can once we do beat normal. Hard is kind of a whole new beast, but we're going to give it a shot because I think that ultimately you can do a lot of this content depending on the rotations, just with this play style and having only these types of heroes at your disposal. So, again, everybody, don't get discouraged. It is possible. The game is playable without spending money. It's a phenomenal game that you should want to play. And if you guys have any questions or comments, leave them down in the comments below. I really appreciate everybody coming in and watching this video. And I will have some links to my Discord and my Twitch if you guys wouldn't mind giving me a follow or joining the Discord. But again, thanks for stopping in, and I will see you guys next time.